Mom, if we were going to be poor, why did you give birth to me? It was a question that pierced the heart of a 68-year-old mother who had spent her entire life hoping for her son. Sanjay finally understood that day. The people she had believed to be family had gathered under one roof with the intent to abandon her. What had happened in this house? How could her son say such words to her? The story begins like this. Mom, I'm divorced. It was a call she received exactly 1 week after her husband's funeral. Sanjay nearly dropped the phone. What? Minsu, what are you saying? I'm sorry, Mom, I'm with the child right now. Could she stay at your house for a while? Sanjay was 68. She had spent her life working as a nurse, cleaning strangers' blood, tending to their pain for over 25 years. Her salary was modest, but she saved 300,000 won each month. She wanted to live in a sunny place, free from the smell of hospitals when she grew old. That was her dream, simple, unassuming. 3 years ago, her husband collapsed from a stroke. She refused to send him to a care facility. I must stay by his side, she thought. For over 2 years, she cared for him at home, changing diapers, feeding him, checking his breathing nightly. In the hospital, work earned her recognition. At home, none. Then quietly he passed away. After the funeral, her account held about 40 million won. Half of her life savings had gone to medical and funeral costs. Sitting alone in her empty home, she didn't cry, the tears had dried. Then the phone rang. Minsu, divorced after 5 years of marriage, had a 6-year-old daughter. Mom, could you watch her? Please. His voice trembled. Sanjay thought of Yunseo. All right, come over. The first week was manageable. Yunseo was well behaved, and Minsu left early, returned late. Thanks, Mom. I'll handle it soon, he said. But as days passed, caring for Yunseo became routine. Sanjay woke her, fed her, took her to daycare, picked her up, prepared dinner, bathed her, and put her to bed. Minsu began coming home later. 7 became 8, 9, then past 10. Sanjay never complained, but noticed he seemed more comfortable leaving everything to her. One day, he wore new shoes, then a new bag, went out with friends, and returned late, saying it's so convenient having Mom thank you. Sanjay couldn't tell if he meant it as thanks or expectation. She was nearly 70. Her back hurt. Her knees ached lifting Yunseo. Yet she endured, thinking, my son, my granddaughter, just a little longer. One afternoon, she returned from dropping Yunseo at daycare and saw a woman, Sujin, her divorced daughter-in-law. Mom, it's been a while, she said, tears in her eyes. Why are you here? I'm sorry, I just wanted to see Yunseo. Behind her, Minsu appeared. Mom, we need to talk. That evening, they sat together. Mom, we're trying again, Minsu said. Sanjay could barely believe it. Again, people make mistakes, and Yunseo. It's better if her parents are together, Sujin said. Sanjay said nothing. Something felt wrong. But she thought of Onseo's face, do as you will. That night she couldn't sleep. She didn't realize her life was about to be in someone else's hands again. Sujin started visiting more. At first she waited at the door, then naturally joined at the table. Mom, I'll do the dishes, she said. Sanjay softened, though cautiously. A month later, Minsu said, Mom, we want to live together again, but the house is too small. We're thinking of moving. Sanjay nodded, a tight feeling pressing in her chest. What about me? Sujin came to say the new house is a lease. But we're short on the deposit, 30 million won. We'll repay, and Yunseo will have her own room. Sanjay couldn't respond. 30 million won was nearly all she had left. A few days later, Minsu returned. Mom, we're family. I'll repay later. Sunja went to the bank, transferred 30 million won. 10 million remained. Her life savings gone, but she told herself, if it helps my son. A week later, Sujin vanished. Minsu returned early, cheerful. Mom, I'm taking leave to see the house with Sujin. Sunja felt uneasy. That night she couldn't sleep. Light spilled from Minsu's room. See you tomorrow. Deposit ready got Mom's money. Sunja froze. Next morning she checked Minsu's desk, only Minsu and Sujin's names on the contract. Her name was absent. A note deposit 30M, Mom's account loan. Everything had been a scheme reconciliation. Tears. Apologies. Need for Yunseo's room all to get her money. Sunja sat stunned. She did not cry. That evening, she served dinner silently. Mom, the house is amazing. Contract next week, Minsu said. She decided no longer a victim. No longer just a good mother. For the first time, she chose to live as Sunja. She moved her remaining funds to a new account. Consulted a legal office. Can I recover the money I lent my son? Without proof. Impossible. She texted Minsu, meet me at the bank tomorrow. At a cafe, she placed her documents on the table. Proof of transfer and contract copy. I know everything, she said. Minsu hardened. Mom, I spent my life living for others. Caring for patients, your father, then you. Trying to live together again was a lie. My name isn't on the contract. Minsu bowed. We rushed, I'll repay. Sunja shook her head. No, I won't take the money. I won't live with you. I won't see Yunso. She handed the final documents. Even family can't contact me if I don't want. Sign or face fraud charges. They signed, tears flowing. Sunja left, planning to write Yunseo a letter. This is the last time, she thought. She found a small studio in Incheon, deposit 5M1, rent 400K. Sunlight filled the room, sea breeze flowing in. No hospital smells, no one calling. A week later, the community center offered a senior job. She began helping at a local school cafeteria. She was happy. Months later, Minsu texted Mom, Yunseo asks about you. She replied, tell her I love her. But now Grandma must live her own life. One evening, she sat by the window watching the sea sunset. This is my life, finally living for myself. Her bank account wasn't full. She had no son or granddaughter around. Yet her heart felt light. That night she wrote, a child said I'm warm today. I've spent my life warming others, but now I'll live warmly for myself. A year later, a letter arrived. Grandma, I miss you. Sunja stared, tears falling. She placed it in a drawer. Someday when Yunseo grew up, they would meet. Until then, she would live her life. Days passed after Sunja moved into her small seaside apartment. The rent was modest, the deposit low, but the sunlight poured through the windows and the salty sea breeze filled the room. For the first time in decades, there was no hospital smell, no constant call of family needs, just quiet. A week later, the local community center called. Excuse me, ma'am. We run a senior employment program. Would you be interested? Sunja didn't hesitate. She started working at the local elementary school as a meal assistant, earning just enough to cover her rent. It was simple work, but for the first time in years, she felt a spark of contentment she had almost forgotten. A month passed, and her phone buzzed with a message from Minsu. Mom, I'm sorry. Yunseo keeps asking for you. Sunja paused, her finger hovering over the keyboard. After a long moment, she typed back. Tell Yunseo I love her, and I'm sorry too. But now it's time for me to live my life. 2 months went by. She joined the local community singing class, surrounded by people her age. For the first time, she realized she could laugh, sing, and feel warmth, not as a caregiver, but for herself. Someone complimented her voice, and she realized she had never sung, just for the joy of singing. She promised herself she would sing more for herself. 3 months in, Sunja's routine became steady. She continued her school job weekly, went to the singing class, and lived independently. She had no children, no husband, no granddaughter to watch over yet. A profound lightness settled in her chest. She began writing in her journal at night. Today, a child at school told me, "Grandma, you're so warm. I've spent my life giving warmth to others, but I never knew if I was truly warm myself. Now I'll live warmly for me." A year later, a letter appeared in her mailbox. Yunseo had written to her grandma, "I miss you." Sunja stared at the handwriting for a long while, tears welling up. But instead of rushing to reply, she gently placed the letter in her drawer. She thought, when you grow up, we'll meet again. Until then, it's enough to know you're safe and loved. Sunja's life had changed completely. She no longer lived for others, no longer carried the weight of obligations. She never asked for. She had reclaimed her time, her peace, and her sunlight. And in that freedom, she discovered something almost forgotten herself.